Hello, hello. Hold on a minute. I gotta set myself up real quick, and then we'll just jump straight into Portal, one of my favorite games ever made, alongside its sequel. Where am I? Uh, uh, where am I? Wait. Hello? Hello? Wait. Why is my mouth not moving? Can anyone hear me? That's weird. Hello? Oh, oops. Hold on. Something's not right. Hey. Ah. Ooh. Uh. Uh. Eh. Okay. Cool. Hello. What? Why am I over here? What? uh. That's not supposed to happen. Oh, it's because I. Okay. There we go. Ooh. All right. Hello. How's anyone doing? The time is 10:24 a.m. So this is a morning stream. Um, I don't usually stream this early, but I saw today was Portal's not Portal, not just Portal, but it's the Orange Box's 16th anniversary. And I thought it would be fitting if I decided to just play Portal to celebrate the occasion. I'm not gonna touch Half-Life 2 Episode 2 because I do want to make that like a series of streams. Like I do want to play through all the Half-Life games. And I'm not gonna touch Team Fortress 2 because I'm not like a multiplayer shooter type of person. I'm not a multiplayer person in general, so it's just not my style. But Portal is basically like the real like showcase for the Orange Box. Like Half-Life 2 Episode 2 is a big deal, obviously, but Portal is something like brand new, exclusive to the Orange Box. It was exclusive for a moment before it becomes standalone, I think. But yeah, let me just boot up the game right now. Oh, you can hear this music. There we go. I always love the Valve theme and the Valve intro. It's so cool. Now let me check something real quick. I'm sorry for all the technical difficulties at the moment. Making, I'm just checking things real quick. Uh, all right. Okay. Without further ado, let's just get started. Oh. So, in terms of my history with Portal, I remember seeing the commercial for Portal 2. It was on TV, obviously, and I remember being like so enamored by like those two robots, Atlas and Peabody playing around with portals, and then hearing GLaDOS, and just the whole commercial just looked so cool to me. And then I watched a gameplay of it, and it kind of took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting it to be like a first-person puzzle game. But this got me curious about Portal as a series of games, of which there were two, and it also introduced me to Half-Life as well. And Portal is just a wonderful little game. I'm just gonna jump in and play. Uh, I always try to play this game and Portal 2 like every year if I can. It's like a tradition. Hmm, looks interesting. I think that lamp is actually interactable. Yeah, it is. Ooh. Oh,
Hello, and
jump scare.
again, welcome to the Aperture Science Computer Aided Enrichment Center. We hope your brief detention in the relaxation vault has been a pleasant one. Your specimen
Yeah?
has been processed, and we are now ready to begin the test proper. Before we start, however, keep in mind that although fun and learning are the primary goals of all Enrichment Center activities, serious injuries may occur. For your own safety and the safety of others, please refrain from Stand back. The portal will open in 3, 2, 1.
I wonder how, like, she actually did count alongside this clock. Like, how tricky was that to get the timing right? Anyway, look at her. It's Shell, the main character of the Portal games, with a very janky jump animation. This is a very neat way of showcasing the portals. Just like you see yourself go through here, and it's like, whoa! It's like I went from here to there. That's awesome. And I'm just noticing that you enter through an orange portal, not a blue portal. Which it's kind of like a weird thing to point out, but it's like typically like players would assume that you just, I don't know. Typically, it just seems normal to go through a blue portal, but I'm rambling. It wouldn't be a Source Engine game without physics objects. These beautiful physics objects.
Excellent. Please proceed into the chamber lock after completing each test. First, however, note the incandescent particle field across the exit. This Aperture Science Material Emancipation Grill will vaporize any unauthorized equipment that passes through it. For instance, the Aperture Science Weighted Storage Cube.
GLaDOS is probably my favorite video game antagonist ever. I think she is awesome.
Please place the weighted storage cube on the 1500 megawatt Aperture Science Heavy Duty Super Colliding Super Button.
I don't know if I memorized that yet. Also, is that a coffee stain? Someone's filthy. Ooh. Ooh.
Perfect. Please move quickly to the chamber lock, as the effects of prolonged exposure to the button are not part of this test.
What? Will I get irradiated when I'm next to a button? Is that the implication? I'm not gonna play this game like super fast, by the way, just because like it's Portal 1. Portal 1 is a very short game. You can finish this game in around an hour. It's not that long. Which is understandable considering that it is like...
You're doing very
I'll let her
well.
speak.
Please be advised that a noticeable taste of blood is not part of any test protocol, but is an unintended side effect of the Aperture Science Material Emancipation Grill, which may, in semi-rare cases, emancipate dental fillings, crowns, tooth enamel, and teeth.
Ugh. Disturbing. But yeah, it's understandable why this game is short, because it was like a pack-in title for the Orange Box initially, so it's like a short little experience like that makes sense. Also, I just missed out on a blue portal. Wow. This is the first time that has ever happened to me, I think. The curse of streaming. Oh, this music.
Very good. You are now in possession of the Aperture Science handheld portal device. With it, you can create your own portals. These intradimensional gates have proven to be completely safe. The device, however, has not. Do not touch the operational end of the device. Do not look directly at the operational end of the device. Do not submerge the device in liquid, even partially. Most importantly, under no circumstances should you...
Oh. So, cool. So, something that was added in an update was that a lot of the touch chambers have these radios, and this was done in sort of a promotional event for Portal 2. So, that's why the radios are there. I'm not gonna locate every radio because, I don't care.
Please proceed to the chamber lock. Mind the gap.
You mind the gap.
Well done. Remember, the Aperture Science Bring Your Daughter to Work Day is the perfect time to have her tested.
Loading.
Welcome to Test Chamber 4. You're doing quite well.
Can I make it? Ah, dang it. I was trying to be so smooth.
Excellent work. As part of our required test protocol, we will not monitor the next test chamber. You will be entirely on your own. Good luck.
Oh no. That's scary. I always love the atmosphere of the first Portal. Just, it's so sterile and cold. And yet, oddly enough, it's kind of comforting to me too. Speaking as someone who has played this game a lot. Oop. Shoot. There we go.
As part of a required test protocol, our previous statement suggesting that we would not monitor this chamber was an outright fabrication. Good job. As part of a required test protocol, we will stop enhancing the truth in 3, 2...
Oh. Now that I brought this up at the beginning of the stream, I've definitely been thinking about doing Half-Life streams.
While safety is one of many Enrichment Center goals. Unbelievable. You
Yeah.
Subject name here.
must be the pride of.
Subject hometown here.
I've definitely been thinking about doing a stream of all the Half-Life games. Half-Life Alyx is going to be a tricky one to stream just because it's a VR game, and I don't know how well my computer can handle streaming a VR game, so that sadly may not be part of like a Half-Life marathon at this point in time. I'm also just self-conscious if like, I don't know, if the streaming software will record my body or whatever, but I don't think that will be the case.
However, alarms and flashing hazard lights have been found to agitate the high-energy pellet and have therefore been disabled for your safety.
Cool.
Good. Now use the Aperture Science unstationary scaffold to reach the chamber lock.
That's what I was about to say. But yeah, sometime in the future, like, I do want to do a stream of all the Half-Life games, because I also love Half-Life, and Half-Life is really cool. I love Half-Life 2
Please note
especially.
that we have added a consequence for failure. Any
Oh.
contact with the chamber floor will result in an unsatisfactory mark on your official testing record, followed by death. Good luck.
Followed by death. Is that radio chattering? Man, this toxic pool is so stank. Portal 2 just made it all brown. Here it's like
Please
disgusting.
note that any appearance of danger is merely a device to enhance your testing experience.
It does enhance it, yeah. Also, sometime down the line, I would also like to do a bunch of streams of Portal and Half-Life mods, which there is a healthy surplus of that, so, that makes me excited, honestly. I love
The
mods.
Enrichment Center regrets to inform you that this next test is impossible. Make no attempt to solve it.
Go over here.
Fantastic.
You call that
You
impossible?
remain resolute and resourceful in an atmosphere of extreme pessimism.
love this elevator sound. That sound. Alright.
Hello again. To reiterate, previous one. Or momentum.
Oh no, I think GLaDOS is talking about momentum in classic Sonic games.
Spectacular. You appear to understand how a portal affects forward momentum, or to be more precise, how it does not.
I like how, because the mechanics of portal flinging and using your momentum to fly by is so, like, out there, that this is like the one time where, like, GLaDOS is kind of holding your hand for a moment. Not too much, but it's like enough where it's like, okay, you really gotta understand this part.
A function of mass and velocity is conserved
Like
between
this.
portals. In layman's terms, speedy thing goes in, speedy thing comes out.
There you go. Whee! And if you're good enough, you could just skip over this entire platform with some well-timed double flings and a crouch in the air. Like, this game is made it's made on top of Half-Life 2, so some of Half-Life 2's movement tech is still in this game, obviously. Portal 2 doesn't really have that. It seems to be built from, like, the ground up on a different branch of the Source engine, I think. So yeah.
The Enrichment Center promises to always provide a safe testing environment. In dangerous testing environments, the Enrichment Center promises to always provide useful advice. For instance, the floor here will kill you. Try to avoid it.
Very useful. Oh. That was a mistake. I was too fast there. I shouldn't have done that. I think Portal 2 certainly, like, toned down on the amount of waiting that some of this game's test chambers tend to have. Like this. You know, just a nice quality of life change, really. Although I think this moment right here is very effective use of waiting. Just the build up. Oh.
The device has been modified so that it can now manufacture two linked portals at once. As part of an optional test protocol, we
There we
are
go.
pleased to present an amusing fact. The device is now more valuable than the organs and combined incomes of everyone in.
Subject hometown, here.
So yeah, now we can shoot 2 portals. That does remind me that there is like a portal mod just called Blue Portals, which is spaced all around just your portal gun only shooting blue portals. It looks very pretty.
Fling yourself. Fling into space.
I'm gonna cough for a moment. Hopefully that doesn't sound bad. So that's one mod I certainly want to try out. I remember that one being particularly tricky though, so... Whoop. There we go. Whee! Oh. That must really hurt to fly so hard into a metallic wall like that. Let's do it again! Oh. Help me! I'm so hurt! Anyway. Sorry if I'm yawning. I did just woke up like an hour ago, so you know. Ah, the quintessential test chamber.
This next test could take a very, very long time. If you become lightheaded from thirst, feel free to pass out. An intubation associate will be dispatched to
Oh,
revive
right.
you with peptic salve and adrenaline.
This is like the quintessential Portal test chamber. A good amount of its mechanics in this one little area. You have quite a bit of freedom actually in terms of how you solve it. Yeah, it's a good test chamber. We also get this very cool song. This game has a very lovely soundtrack. Caleb Bailey,
As part of a previously mentioned required test protocol, we can no longer lie to you. When the testing is over, you will be missed.
Aww. Caleb Bailey did the soundtrack for this game. He also did the soundtrack for pretty much every Half-Life game except for Alex. He's an awesome talent. His music is so iconic. I could skip this one, but I won't.
All subjects intending to handle high-energy gamma-leaking portal technology must be informed that they may be informed of applicable regulatory compliance issues. No further compliance information is required or will be provided, and you are an excellent test subject.
Yeah, there's like a huge skip for this chamber where if you just portal down here and follow someone there, you could just hop over there. Very nifty. But of course, I'm not gonna zoom through that. Let me... Okay. Doing some platforming. There we go.
Very good. A complimentary victory lift has been activated in the main chamber.
Now here's a pretty neat detail. If you just do this, you could just break the door just like that. It's just a funny little, it's an interesting little detail that they just added in there for some reason. It certainly communicates the idea that at this point, like, the maintenance of these later test chambers is questionable. Speaking of questionable, oh, actually, is it this next chamber? No, not this
The
one.
Enrichment Center is committed to the well-being of all participants. Cake and brief counseling will be available at the conclusion of the test. Thank you for helping us help you help us all.
Smooth. You see that? That's a lot of experience right there. Yeah, at this point, the chamber design has become a bit more extravagant, a bit more interesting. Yeah, interesting. A good half of this game is basically like a tutorial for the mechanics of the portal gun. And it is a very effective tutorial. Alright. Now we go through this tunnel, which we could cheese, just like that. I don't actually... yeah, you could actually just, like, just fall down and hop over there, like the last chamber, but I'm not gonna do that. Okay.
Did you know you can donate one or all of your vital organs?
I could do this,
to the
though.
Aperture Science Self-Esteem Fund for Girls. It's true. Through no fault of the Enrichment Center, you have managed to trap yourself in this room. An escape hatch will open in 3, 2, 1.
Whee! Yeah, this is just nifty. Oh! Oh my god. Alright. Notice how there's like no people in these observation rooms. I wonder what's up with that. How long have I been streaming at this point? Almost 30 minutes. Boy, this game just flies by, doesn't it? Oh yeah, here's this chamber.
Due to mandatory scheduled maintenance, the appropriate chamber for this testing sequence is currently unavailable. It has been replaced with a live fire course designed for military androids. The Enrichment Center apologizes for the inconvenience and wishes you the best of luck.
Damn. Fucked up.
Put me down. Malfunction. No hard feelings. Deployment.
Oh. Oh no.
I don't blame you. Activated.
Whew.
Shutting down.
I'm gonna hit this turret with one of his buddies. One of their buddies. Brutal. Oh, what's this over here? We do a bit of crouching. That's a funny phrase right here. I wonder if anyone has ever said it. But yeah, I love this kind of thing. Just at this point, it's like you went through so many of these sterile chambers, and then you come across this, and it's like, whoa. Oh yeah, and another thing is that, like I said, this game was built on top of Half-Life 2, basically, and like, this is where like a lot of Half-Life 2 assets are just popping up here. Like, I'm pretty sure these are ripped straight out of Half-Life 2. It's great. I love that in games when they could just reuse assets like this, and it serves a pretty effective purpose. It's really cool. Oh god.
Who are you? Malfunction.
Ah! Oh! I should be dead right now. But I'm not. Oh, right.
Well done, Android. The Enrichment Center once again reminds you that Android Hell is a real place where you will be sent at the first sign of defiance.
Holy shit. Let's murder him. But yeah, at this point, this is where things are starting to ramp up. Like, man, I I remember when I was learning about Portal, I did watch like a playthrough of this game basically, and like that
The
moment.
vital apparatus vent will deliver a weighted companion cube in 3, 2, 1.
That moment, once they introduce the
This weighted
turrets.
companion cube will accompany you through the test chamber. Please take care of it.
I'll take care of it. But yeah, that moment when they introduce the turrets is where things just get a lot more sinister. Like, the whole vibe of the game just sort of shifts into something a bit more, like, it's just so much more sinister. What else
The
do I have to say?
symptoms most commonly produced by enrichment center testing are superstition, perceiving inanimate objects as alive, and hallucinations. The enrichment center reminds you that the weighted companion cube will never
Ooh!
stab you and, in fact, cannot speak.
Help me, QB. There you go. Ah! Shit. My first death. That was stupid. There we go. Ooh. I'm just realizing. The camera saw me. I need to take care of it.
To ensure the safe performance of all authorized activities, do not destroy vital testing apparatus.
Oh. C. Johnson. Oh. Man, this is really freaky. Like, there's a whole webcomic made after this game and before Portal 2 called The Ratman. And obviously, it's about this guy named Doug Ratman that made all these, like, murals and stuff. But, like, they never really showcase the fact that he just posted pictures of, I'm assuming it's his companion cube right here. Like, it's very strange. Go over here.
The Enrichment Center reminds you that the weighted companion cube cannot speak. In the event that the weighted companion cube does speak, the Enrichment Center urges you to disregard its advice.
Of course, because we don't like hand-holding in these test chambers. Please don't hand-hold me. Don't backseat me, Cube. Bunny hopping is still a faster method of movement. Whee! Ah! I could have died right there. Oh. There we go. Yeah, every time an energy pellet goes through a portal, it restores its life cycle. So, yeah, something to consider. Oh! Okay. Boom. Boom.
You did it. The weighted companion cube certainly brought you good luck. However, it cannot accompany you for the rest of the test and, unfortunately, must be euthanized. Please escort your companion cube to the
Hey RQ,
Aperture
how's it
Science
going?
Emergency
I'm just
Intelligence
playing through
Incinerator.
Portal 1 in celebration of its 16th anniversary and in turn the 16th anniversary of the Orange Box. How's it
You
going?
euthanized your faithful companion cube more quickly than any test subject on record. Congratulations.
Damn, speed running. Huh. Got a lurk since I'm at work, but just wanted to say hi. Yeah, no worries. I understand. Yeah, I don't normally. I've been thinking of doing more streams at the night, at my night, because like I realized like that.
The experiment is
Oh,
nearing its conclusion.
I'll let her speak.
The Enrichment Center is required to remind you that you will be baked, and then there will be cake.
Wait, I'll be baked, and then there'll be cake. What? Anyway, but yeah, at this point I've decided. Yeah, I think all my future streams are gonna be like at night at most, because that's usually where a good amount of my buddies are up. So, but I'm gonna stream at the morning anyway, just to see who else comes in and all that. But yeah, thank you for lurking. Go over here. Ooh. Okay. Woo. Ooh. I was gonna say, either way I'll be there. Yeah. Okay. So that's done and over with. So now I have to get the cube. Woo. Shoot a portal there. Whee! I love this moment. Jump down. Whee! Just like that. Put that here. There we go. This part's pretty funky. Ooh. Woo.
Well done. Be advised that the next test requires exposure to uninsulated electrical parts that may be dangerous under certain conditions.
No
For more
worries.
information, please attend an Enrichment Center electrical safety seminar.
No worries, GLaDOS. I have taken electric engineering class. I should be okay.
Welcome to the final test. When you are done, you will drop the device in the Equipment Recovery Annex. Enrichment Center regulations require both hands to be empty before any case.
Okay. I like the idea of this test chamber that you're basically riding on this track. A pretty effective way of making this feel like climactic in a way. Even if the difficulty isn't really that high. I never understood this green energy pellet. Like, where does it come from? And it's just bouncing forever. I've seen someone actually like play through. Once they reach this point, they actually like carry this green energy pellet up to the final area of the game, which is impressive. There we go. Ooh, cake.
Congratulations. The test is now over. All Aperture technologies remain safely operational up to 4,000 degrees Kelvin.
Oh.
Rest assured that there is absolutely no chance of a dangerous equipment malfunction prior to your victory incandescence. Thank you for participating in this Aperture Science computer-aided enrichment activity. Goodbye.
Oh boy. As she said, I will be baked, and then there will be cake. Whee!
What are you doing? Stop it.
Oh.
We are pleased that you made it through the final challenge where we pretended we were going to murder you. We are very happy for your success. We are throwing a party in honor of your tremendous success. Place the device on the ground, then lie on your stomach with your arms at your sides. A party associate will arrive shortly to collect you for your party. Make no further attempt to leave the testing area. Assume the party is in submission position or you will miss the party.
Is she done? Okay. This is my favorite part of Portal 1, this whole escape sequence. Things are so nasty here. You get all this. It's awesome. Can't open that. Oh! Oh, wait. The rails actually break? I never realized that. Huh. That's actually the first time I ever saw that. Interesting. Oh. This is a neat bit of Half-Life connection here. Dollars and cents competing with Black Mesa for DoD and government-wide acquisition contracts. What is Black Mesa? 2.59% of all DoD contracts, $10 billion in federal dollars annually, 12% from full and open competition, 88% from no bids and excluded source bids. Ah, a whole lot of business jargon. But I like this little graph right here where they were proposed like that high and they rewarded this low. Like, that's just funny to me. Aperture proposal. Bonus to DOA, Aperture FSI inhibits ICE, but is also a fully functioning disk operating system and arguably alive. Ooh. And would you look at this? This is one of the last chambers we've entered, and now we're here. Failed. Is that a chicken? Oh, and I just remembered there is actually like an interesting little Easter egg. Oh, this is one of the other test chambers we've been to. But here's an interesting little Easter egg, and I don't know if this will actually show up on stream. I think it does. But look at this cute little jellyfish. Wow. I believe there's like another jellyfish drawing that's like meaner looking. Maybe it's actually around here. I don't quite remember. But yeah. Oh yeah, it says nice little. It says nice little jellyfish in the bottom. Anyway. Hop hop. Oh man. There's like so many interesting little crevices in this whole area, and they don't really lead to anywhere, but it does go a long way of making this place feel big and complex.
You haven't escaped, you know. You're not even going the right way. Hello, is anyone there?
Whee! Ah, that's a bit jank. Ooh.
Okay, the test is over now. You win.
And we're back
Go
here
to
now.
the recovery annex for your cake. It was a fun test, and we're all impressed at how much you won. The test is over. Come back. Uh-oh, somebody cut the cake. I told them to wait for you, but they can't get any food. Still silent?
Nah, I'm not hungry. Whee! Okay.
You're not even going the right way. Where do you think you're going? Because I don't think you're going where you think you're going. Hello?
God, look how intense this area looks. I love it. God, a cardboard bed. Okay, help. Oh, alright. Woo! Okay.
Didn't we have some fun, though? Remember when the platform was sliding into the fire pit and I said goodbye, and you were like,
No way.
and then I was off. We pretended we were going to murder you. That was fun. Is anyone there?
Oof.
You really shouldn't be here. This isn't safe for you. It's not too late for you to turn back. I'm not angry. Just go back.
Okay. I like how there's this little spot right here. Like, it looks like it goes down, but, like, no. Like, you could just kind of float over it because there's just collision on top of it like that. I don't know why that's there. But anyway.
You should have turned left before. It's funny, actually, when you think about it. Someday we'll remember this and laugh.
Ratman Den. I think this is the last Ratman Den. Unless I'm missing one. No, there's like one more. Yeah. Here are these barrels from Half-Life 2. Oh my god.
You're not a good person. You know that, right? Good people don't end up here. Can you hear me?
Here's this malfunctioning turret.
Target lost.
Oh no, I've been here. Okay.
Searching. Are you still there?
Right, I think this is the last Ratman Den. She's watching you. Oh.
This is your fault. It didn't have to be like this. I'm not kidding now. Turn back or I will kill you. I'm going to kill you. And all the cake is gone. You don't even care, do you? This is your last chance.
Oh yeah, and here's the big bad jellyfish, and apparently he's wanted. Ooh. Anyway, here's a Portal modder's favorite thing in the world. Rocket turrets. I have misunderstood this part for the longest time because I didn't realize that I have to use a rocket turret to like blow up this glass tube, because this is like the first time you ever actually like have to blow up a tube like this. I always just assumed that I had to like grab a bunch of chairs and then just climb up to the vent, which is how I usually do it. But this one's just a lot more efficient, I think. Alright. Okay. Ooh.
Please put me down.
Oh.
Please put me down. Hey. Are you still there? Uh-oh.
You survived? Okay. I've also misunderstood this part. Like, I always assumed that I'd have to shoot a portal up there, drop down, and then I'll just climb over the railing like that. But there is like a dedicated spot for just getting up there, as I'll show off right here. Yeah, I like this area. Not that, like, you know, this method right here is incorrect, but it's still kind of like, oh, okay, that's how it's supposed to work then. What if I drop down? Oh yeah, no. It doesn't carry over my speed like that. Oh. Oh. Okay. Anyway, we're basically at the end of the game, and just an hour into the stream. Yeah, like I said, this game is pretty short.
Well, you found me. Congratulations. Was it worth it? Because despite your violent behavior, the only thing you've managed to break so far is my heart. Maybe you could settle for that, and we'll just call it a day. I guess we both know that isn't going to happen. You chose this path. Now I have a surprise for you. Deploying surprise in 5, 4... Time out for a second. That wasn't supposed to happen. Do you see that thing that fell out of me? What is that? It's not the surprise. I've never seen it before. Never mind. It's a mystery I'll solve later. By myself. Because you'll be dead. I wouldn't bother with that thing. My guess is that touching it will just make your life even worse, somehow.
There's so much dialogue in this whole area, if you really want to hear it all.
I don't want to tell you your business, but if it were me, I'd leave that thing alone. Do you think I'm trying to trick you with reverse psychology? I mean, seriously now. Okay, fine. Do touch it. Pick it up and just stuff it back into me. Let's be honest. Neither one of us knows what that thing does. Just put it in the corner, and I'll deal with it later. That thing is probably some kind of raw sewage container. Go ahead and rub your face all over it. Maybe you should marry that thing since you love it so much.
I do love it.
Kidding me. Did you just set that Aperture Science thing, we don't know what it does, into an Aperture Science Emergency Intelligence Incinerator? That has got to be the dumbest thing that... Whoa. Good news. I figured out what that thing you just incinerated did. It was a morality core they installed after I flooded the enrichment center with a deadly neurotoxin to make me stop flooding the enrichment center with a deadly neurotoxin. So get comfortable while I warm up the neurotoxin emitters.
Oh.
That core may have had some ancillary responsibilities. I can't shut off the turret defenses. Oh well. If you want my advice, you should just lie down in front of a rocket. Trust me. Neurotoxin. Alright. Keep doing whatever it is you think you're doing. Killing you and giving you good advice aren't mutually exclusive. The rocket really is the way to go. That thing you burned up isn't important to me. It's the fluid catalytic cracking unit. You think you're doing some damage?
2 plus 2 is...
In base 4, I'm fine. I let you survive. Well, you've managed to destroy that part of me. Unfortunately,
Ow.
As much as I'd love to now, I can't get the neurotoxin into your head any faster. I'd just like to point out that you were given every opportunity to succeed. There was even going to be a party for you. A big party that all your friends were invited. Neurotoxin. So deadly. Joking.
Kidding.
When I said deadly neurotoxin, the deadly was in massive. The stuff, put it on cereal, rub it right into my odds. Honestly, it's not deadly at all. On the other hand, if I find it's deadliness, a lot less.
Alright.
Who's gonna make the cake when I'm gone? You. Look, you're wasting your time. And believe me, you don't have a whole lot left to waste. What's your point anyway? That's-
I have your brain scanned.
and permanently backed up in case something terrible happens to me.
Which is just about
Oh.
Don't believe me? Here, I'll put you on. That's you. That's you. Even though I'm not every single thing you've ever done, including this game. When it's not, when it's not, when it's not, when it's not, when it's your life.
Oh. I just realized something. We're gonna get the credits song of this game, but if I recall correctly, I think the credits theme is actually like, I don't know why, but I think there's something that happens where for some reason the credits theme gets copyright strike. So I'll have to turn down like the audio for this part when it comes up. Sad to say. Because I remember seeing like watching Wayne Radio TV, and they did bring up that like yeah, for some reason Still Alive just gets you caught or something. So yeah, I'll have to turn down the volume just to be safe. Okay, let me turn it down. It sucks because I really like this song. I mean, I can hear it, but y'all can't. So, yeah. But yeah, that was the first Portal. I love this game. um, it's a very short, experimental little game, but I don't know. I play this game every year. There's just something about how this game is designed, how it plays, how it all comes together. It's just super effective. Like I could definitely say, I don't know. I've argued that like the first Portal game could honestly make for an effective first video game for anyone who has never played video games before. And some people may like scoff at that, like, Portal is kind of like a weirdly unconventional game. Like, I imagine that to anyone playing this game, they'll be like, out of the loop with how the Portal mechanics work and stuff. But I generally think that this could make for an effective first video game, just because it's so short and very straightforward in its structure, and it kind of to me, like both Portal and Portal 2 were games that made me recognize like the importance of storytelling in a video game. The first Portal game doesn't have like a super emphasized narrative, but like it does have a narrative that really builds naturally, I think. And in my eyes, like I think this game in Portal 2 was like the moment as a kid where I kind of recognized that video games are more than something that you just play. The same way that, movies are more than something you watch, or music is more than something you listen to. Um, I truly think like Portal and Portal 2 are like brilliant works of art that made me recognize how powerful video games are as a medium for storytelling and conveying a specific idea, basically. That's a whole lot of like rambling at this point, but yeah, I just feel this strongly about Portal and Portal 2. Uh, so yeah, just a fantastic game. And I love this song too. I'm pretty tired. I just woke up like 2 hours ago, so I apologize for that. Um, and would you look at that? We get like a cool little title screen. Um, Now let me turn up the volume. Uh, okay, cool. Now, the stream has only been on for like an hour, and I was debating like whether to end it here or to extend the stream further. And this actually just came up to me. Um, there is a developer commentary mode, and I figured, hey, like I love developer commentaries, and I think this is a good way of just extending the stream out for a bit, just to get some insight into the game, as well as like, allow me to commentate on it myself. So, yeah, let's just do the developer commentary. Let's see. Let's start.
Welcome to.
Game name here.
Hey, Gabe.
Hopefully, you've already had a chance to enjoy the offbeat perspective and new game mechanic of Portal.
I have.
To listen to a commentary node, put your crosshair over the floating commentary symbol and press your use key. To stop a commentary node, put your crosshair over the rotating node and press the use key again. Some commentary nodes may take control of the game in order to show something to you. In these cases, simply press your use key again to stop the commentary. Please let me know what you think after you've had a chance to play, as we think we are just at the beginning of taking advantage of this type of gameplay.
Oh, yeah.
It can be reached at gaben@valvesoftware.com. Thanks, and have fun.
I'm gonna bump up the audio since, this whole thing is gonna be like audio centric. So, let's see. I think that's fine, yeah. Oh, so many nodes.
One of the things we learned from Narbacular Drop, our student project that became Portal, was that players often thought portals took them into other spaces, or even other dimensions. To help fight that notion, we start players in a visually unique room with memorable objects, so that when they walk through a portal for the first time, they have a clear point of reference,
no,
which
GLaDOS,
communicates the idea
please.
that they're still in the same basic location. For instance, the radio, which is playing an instrumental version of Still Alive, helps as well by providing some audio
Before we
continuity.
start, however, keep in mind that although fun and learning are the primary goals of all Enrichment Center activities, serious injuries may occur. For your own safety
And the safety of others, please refrain from...
Stand back. The portal will open in 3, 2, 1.
But yeah,
One of the things we learned from Narbacular Drop are
so what Kim is saying is basically like, this room right here was basically designed so that,
one of the things we learned from Narbacular Drop, our student project that became Portal,
hold on.
was that players often thought portals took them in.
Yeah, basically create a unique room to provide a reference point for traversing through portals. Like, oh, I went from here to here. And even like this radio is an effective way of providing audio continuity, Which, that's the kind of thing in video games and in art in general that you just take for granted. It's just like, oh, it's just
One of the things
this
we learned
radio
from
is just
Narbacular-
playing for, as a background prop. But it does provide, like, a sort of contextual, like, purpose for teaching game mechanics, basically. It's really cool.
It's absolutely critical that players quickly wrap their heads around what a portal is. We noticed early playtesters grasped the concept much more quickly when they caught a glimpse of themselves through a portal. So we deliberately positioned this first portal to ensure that players will invariably see themselves.
That's right. It's very cool.
We put the player character in an orange jumpsuit to reinforce the fact that she's a test subject. Visually, the warmer colors helped her pop out against the colder tones of her environment. Some playtesters were wondering why she could fall so far without getting hurt the way she would have if she were in Half-Life 2. In response, we added a mechanized heel spring to her lower leg. Afterwards, there was no longer any question about why she could survive such long falls.
Those heel springs that Shell has, like, that's their explanation for why she can withstand fall damage. Because fall damage is a thing in Half-Life 2, and this game is based in Half-Life 2's foundation. And the heel springs is their explanation for why she doesn't have fall damage. They always look so uncomfortable though. Like, I don't know how that actually works. In Portal 2, they replaced them with like long fall boots, which I think do a much better job of communicating the idea that she can withstand long falls. But whatever they can to communicate the idea, it serves its purpose, I suppose.
These frosted glass observation rooms make the player feel as if they're being watched at all times, while keeping the identity of these watchers a mystery. The rooms serve a practical purpose as well, since we often use them as convenient and logical light sources for the test chambers.
Yeah. I love that, like the way the observation room light just casts upon these test chambers. There are these like light sources in the ceilings, which is there to provide light to spaces that the observation room doesn't touch. I've never been a fan of how these looked. I like Portal 2's version, where they're basically like dedicated chunks of geometry on surfaces and not like these weird little, like, I guess, light vents. But yeah, like, observation rooms do serve that purpose. It's cool.
Portal is effectively an extended player training exercise. We spend a huge portion of the game introducing a series of gameplay tools, then layering those tools into increasingly difficult puzzles. This layering starts here, where we train the button and box mechanic, before introducing the more complicated concept of portals.
Excellent. Please proceed into the chamber lock after completing each test. First, however, note the incandescent particle field across the exit. This Aperture Science Material Emancipation Grill will vaporize any unauthorized equipment that passes through it. For instance, the Aperture Science Weighted Storage Cube. Please place the weighted storage cube on the 1500 megawatt Aperture Science Heavy Duty Super Colliding Super Button.
We wanted players to feel safe while standing in a portal, so we never kill them or destroy objects within a portal that's closing. Instead, we either push or teleport objects out of a portal as it closes.
Please move quickly to the chamber lock, as the effects of prolonged exposure to the button are not part of this test.
Yeah, that's a good point that he made. Like, if the portals actually do kill you, that's just stressful. Like, I feel like that just makes the gameplay more stressful than it really needs to. So yeah, that's a good call.
We very deliberately introduce and train each gameplay concept in Portal, so that once players reach this spot, we're confident that they know what a portal is and roughly how it works. Early versions of the game let players stumble through the beginning, without always understanding what was going on, which really compromised teaching new concepts. The puzzle you just finished was designed so that stumbling around will almost always lead to a dead end. Completing the puzzle requires walking through a minimum of 5 portals in a specific order. This kind of gating, in which a solid understanding of key gameplay concept is required for success, helped standardize the learning curve of the game tremendously.
Yeah. There's all these, like, little intricate steps in game development like that, where you really have to consider like how do you pace out like these mechanics and how do you teach them effectively.
You're doing very well. Please be advised that a noticeable taste of blood is not part of any test protocol, but is an unintended side effect of the Aperture Science Material Emancipation Grip, which may, in semi-rare cases, emancipate dental fillings, crowns, tooth enamel, and teeth.
Alright.
In early versions of this map, playtesters would charge down the stairs without noticing what was creating the portals. We introduced a mandatory pause in the action, what we call a gate, to help ensure that players stop and notice the portal gun making the blue portal. The particle effect and a loud noise help draw their attention.
Very good. You are now in possession of the Aperture Science handheld portal device. With it, you can create your own portals. These intradimensional gates have proven to be completely safe. The device, however, has not. Do not touch the operational end of the device. Do not look directly at the operational end of the device. Do not submerge the device in liquid, even partially. Most importantly, under no circumstances should you...
Is there a way to turn down her voice so that I could just listen to just the people talking? Doesn't seem like it. I don't need portal funnel.
Please proceed to the chamber lock. Mind the gap.
This room was designed to make players understand that entrance and exit portals aren't tied to the color of the portal. Playtesters often assume that orange portals were exit only, so we created this puzzle to force players to enter an orange portal.
That's funny. I like that.
When rendering the player's view through a portal, we must render a separate image using a virtual camera which looks out of the opposite portal. To obtain a correct image and efficient rendering performance, we render only what is visible through the limited field of view of the opposite portal and exclude objects which lie between the virtual camera and the plane of the opposite portal. When rendering...
Well done. Remember, the Aperture Science Bring Your Daughter to Work Day is the perfect time to have her tested.
The combination of portal-destroying fields, which we call fizzlers, and the elevators, serve a dual purpose. They provide a clearly identifiable endpoint for each test chamber, while also addressing the more practical problem of how to keep players from portaling across level loads. We eventually integrated the fizzlers into several of our puzzle designs.
Yeah. Fizzlers are neat. It's interesting, like I brought up before, like, you could bring like a green energy pellet from chamber 19 all the way to the final area. So like with how this engine works, like objects like that do just load into the next map. It's interesting.
Welcome to Test Chamber 4. You're doing quite well.
For training purposes, there's generally just one correct solution to these early puzzles. The original version of this room didn't have the glass barrier. Playtesters would often stand on the button to open the door and then shoot a blue portal through the opening, bypassing the box entirely. Since this puzzle was meant to illustrate the relationship between boxes and buttons, that solution, while clever, was a failure. So we added the glass barrier to prevent it. Later in the game, however, the puzzles become more open-ended.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. Oh.
Integrating portals with Source Engine's physics system was a
there's a lot
complex
to read.
process that required several iterations to achieve the right balance of performance and correctness.
Once again,
Because portals can be placed virtually
as part of our required test protocol, we will not monitor the next test chamber. You will be entirely on your own. Good luck.
David over here
Portals with
gets
Source
really
Engine's physics
technical.
system was a complex process that required several iterations to achieve the right balance of performance and correctness. Because portals can be placed virtually anywhere in the game's environment, the physics system had to be modified to allow dynamic changes to its representation of colliding geometry, such as the walls and floor around this box, and any objects which may lie on the opposite side of the portal. Initial implementations of this dynamic collision generation system could take up to 1/2 of 1 second, or 500 milliseconds, to compute the correct collision. This may not sound like a long time in everyday life, but this pause during the portal creation was quite noticeable in the context of a game. Ultimately, we designed a system that creates temporary hybrid physics environments in bubbles around the portals, using less accurate collision than that produced by Source's standard collision generation, but was accurate enough in practice and reduced the time to create dynamic collision representation from 500 milliseconds to just 10 milliseconds, which is an imperceptible pause during portal creation.
Jeez. Not that, I don't appreciate all that explanation. I imagine to programmers that's like really interesting and cool, but it's like, holy shit, that's so much. In the Portal 2 developer commentary, I don't know if it's him or someone else, but they went into detail about how, the opening cinematic works, and it's like, holy shit.
Early versions of Portal featured more detailed, cluttered environments, much like Half-Life 2. We quickly realized that unnecessary objects scattered all over the place distracted players to the point where it actually interfered with the Portal training process. So we simplified the art style to favor clean, focused test chambers. The modular approach we settled on makes it look plausible that the chambers can reform dynamically on these pistons.
As part of a required test protocol, our previous statement suggesting that we would not monitor this chamber was an outright fabrication. Good job. As part of a required test protocol, we will stop enhancing the truth in 3, 2.
So yeah, that commentary note references the fact that early on in development, environments did take a lot of notes from Half-Life 2's, I guess, visual clutter, but they felt it wasn't necessary. So this game has this very distinct minimalist look to it,
Safety is one of many enrichment center goals.
which I dig a lot.
Aperture Science high energy pellets. Unbelievable. You
Subject name here.
must be the pride of.
Subject hometown here.
Man, I'm just realizing that considering that this game often features these monochromatic chambers, and that I myself am monochromatic, and the stream layout is monochromatic, outside of a tiny splashes of color, this is a very muted stream, visually speaking.
To make puzzles deeper than just teleporting to the exit, we had to include surfaces that won't hold a portal, which are formally introduced here. We experimented with several surface designs before we settled on this one, whose visual noise and reflectivity make it easy to identify at a distance.
Yeah. I always liked that in Portal 2, the non-portable surfaces have this sort of a ridge-like pattern. Ugh! Sorry. It has a ridge-like pattern that I think better communicates that, yeah, you can't create anything on these surfaces because it looks bumpy. Anyway, I drank water.
Warning devices are required on all mobile equipment. However, alarms and flashing hazard lights have been found to agitate the high energy pellet and have therefore been disabled for your safety. Good. Now use the Aperture Science unstationary scaffold to reach the chamber lock.
Originally, these scaffolds ran on electrified tracks, but crafty playtesters would hop along the rails to the exit, bypassing the puzzle entirely. We tried to solve this by killing players as soon as they touched the rails. That solution ended up being too much of an overcorrection, as even skilled playtesters were getting frustrated by these one-hit kills in the more complex puzzles later in the game. Making the scaffolds run along immaterial beams of light solved both problems.
Yeah. God, that would be annoying if they really do just hurt you just by stepping into those blue lasers. Yeah. That's a good call. Whew. Alright.
Please note that we have added a consequence for failure. Any contact with the chamber floor will result in an unsatisfactory mark on your official testing record, followed by death. Good luck.
Even though layering player training was a design goal from the start, we still ended up introducing some concepts too quickly. For instance, this used to be the first energy ball redirection puzzle. Playtesting revealed that this puzzle introduced too many new concepts at once, which ended up frustrating a lot of playtesters. In response, we inserted 2 test chambers before this one, to make the energy ball redirection
Please
slightly
note
more
that any
gradual.
appearance of danger is merely a device to enhance your testing experience.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Like, this was gonna be the first chamber to introduce this mechanic, and it's like, but it's also including like these scaffolds and this death pit, and yeah, I get that would be too much.
We
at this
previously
point.
talked about how we handle static portal collision, but collision with moving objects on the other side of a portal is a completely different and equally hard problem. Walking onto this scaffold was a very iffy proposition for the first few months of development. We solved the problem of colliding with these dynamic objects by cloning the objects from one portal to the other and strictly controlling what objects are allowed to collide with each other and how they're allowed to collide.
Yeah. The portal mechanics is certainly like, you know, in practice, it's such a simple idea. You just go from one portal to another, but like they really have to consider like how to make this mechanic work fluidly and efficiently, and it does require like a lot of that kind of thing. Ooh, alright.
The Enrichment Center regrets to inform you that this next test is impossible. Make no attempt to solve it.
Because our test chamber environments were simplified for training purposes, we created
For the first
Oh shoot. Let me solve this chamber first. She's gonna keep talking.
Fantastic. You remain resolute and resourceful in an atmosphere of extreme pessimism.
Because our test chamber environments were simplified for training purposes, we created visual hotspots within the rooms to guide players' attention. The design is essentially a balance between round objects and sharp objects. The sharp objects representing background elements, and the round objects, such as doors and movable props, comprising our points of visual interest.
Yeah. Nice use of contrasting shapes.
For the first few months of development, we rendered the views through portals to 2 off-screen textures. This approach was easy to implement and was compatible with a wide range of graphics hardware. Unfortunately, this method was incompatible with anti-aliasing and consumed a large amount of video memory in order to handle recursive views through several portals. Because of these disadvantages, we switched to a system which renders portal views recursively into the frame buffer with the aid of the stencil buffer to isolate pixels corresponding to a given portal. This is a more effective scheme because it is compatible with anti-aliasing and does not consume any additional video memory for off-screen textures.
A lot of tech stuff, basically. I love these developer commentaries. More video games need developer commentaries, I feel. Like, these are so cool.
Portal momentum ended up being the hardest concept to convey.
Right.
For this series of puzzles, which went through more design iterations than virtually any other part of the game, we introduced the idea of redirecting your momentum using portals, slowly, step by step. We even have the AI voice pretty explicitly explain the elements of the puzzle, something we avoided throughout most of the rest of the game.
Hello again. To reiterate, previous one. Momentum.
Yeah. This went through the most iteration, and it's like, I wouldn't even know playing through this, but yeah, like, this kind of mechanic of using your momentum. Whoa! What just happened there? That was weird. As I was saying, like, the concept of momentum through portals is such a weird concept, and like, I think it's fair for GLaDOS herself to be like, hey, this is how it kind of works.
Using gravity to fall into one portal so that you come
Greg
rocketing out
Coomer!
the other portal, a skill we call flinging, was another difficult concept to train. We designed a specific visual cue, a pushed-out concrete block with checkerboard tile above a pit, to indicate to players that it's time to use the fling maneuver. Repeated several times, this cue helps players associate pushed-out concrete slabs with flinging, in much the same way that players learn to associate cubes with buttons.
Yeah.
Spectacular. You appear to understand how a portal affects forward momentum, or to be more precise, how it does not.
Originally, these exit portal surfaces were static geometry in the final position, but playtesters stubbornly refused to look up to find them. This is another example of the classic game design problem of coaxing players to look up. By putting the portals on moving pistons, we were able to start them in a position that players were more likely to see.
Yeah. The looking up in video games. What a dilemma. Oh.
Momentum, a function of mass and velocity, is conserved between portals. In layman's terms, speedy thing goes in, speedy thing comes out.
There we go. Funny how, like, the likelihood of streaming both the main campaign and the commentary mode, and the stream will still not be as long as, like, you know, other games that I've played in a single sitting.
The Enrichment Center promises to always provide a safe testing environment. In dangerous testing environments, the Enrichment Center promises to always provide useful advice. For instance, the floor here will kill you. Try to avoid it.
We found that rather than looking into portals to see where it went, playtesters would often leap blindly to their doom. In response to this observation, the moral of this puzzle is look before you leap. The safe orange portal is out of the player's view from this balcony. That forces them to peer through a portal to see it, which trains players in their remote viewing capabilities of portals.
Yeah. I love this observation room. It's a very unique set piece.
Originally, a weighted button was used to open the far door, but playtesters so strongly associated boxes with buttons that they'd get stuck searching hopelessly for a box. We changed the big button to a pedestal-mounted push button, thus removing the box association. But playtesters still had trouble realizing they needed to shoot a portal through the door. Adding a ticking timer sound when the door was open cued players that the puzzle expected them to act during that time, which solved the problem.
Yeah. All these tiny little parts go a long way in making things, like, more coherent from a game design perspective. There we go.
This room is designed to build anticipation for the big moment when players finally get the fully powered portal gun. The puzzle path brings you in a circle around the device, so that it's virtually always in sight, right up until you grab it.
Yeah.
The device has been modified so that it can now manufacture 2 linked portals at once. As part of an optional test protocol, we are pleased to present an amusing fact. The device is now more valuable than the organs and combined incomes of everyone in
Subject hometown here.
Player training doesn't always stick, especially after the introduction of a big new concept. For instance, after they had acquired the fully powered portal device, playtesters often forgot about the fling maneuver. Since it's such an important skill, this puzzle is designed to reintroduce the idea of flinging.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay to have reminders. Oh. Alright.
Now that you are in control of both portals, this next test could take a very, very long time.
Oh, I'm just
If you
noticing the
become
weird,
lightheaded from thirst,
very...
feel free to pass out. An intubation associate will be dispatched to revive you with peptic salve and adrenaline.
When we moved from largely placeholder art to our final visual design, this was the first level to get a facelift. We chose this map because it had many of our gameplay elements integrated into a relatively small space. The test chamber art direction was designed to make everything appear purposefully placed. The simple design helps focus players on the puzzles. It also provides a nice contrast to the later, much less sterile behind-the-scenes environments, which contributes to a clear sense of progression.
Yeah. This really is like the quintessential Portal test chamber. Just has all these little elements that, you know, it's not all of them, but it's enough where it's like, yeah, this is like a much more of a full package of a test chamber. Ooh. And I imagine that, yeah, this would be like the first chamber to get a visual facelift because, hey, you know, all our elements are here.
This is the first map in which we experimented with solving the puzzle in as few portal placements as possible. We tried to fit that concept into the story mode, but were never quite able to sell it. Instead of abandoning the idea altogether, we added the concept to a series of post-game challenge maps.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Like, honestly, I don't think I would have liked that kind of challenge in the main story mode to use as few portals as possible. That just seems forced and awkward to me. But as a post-game content, it's perfectly fine.
As part of a previously mentioned required test protocol, we can no longer lie to you. When the testing is over, you will be missed.
A problem we came across with virtually any puzzle involving boxes and doors was that the players could portal the boxes to the other side of the door, thereby trapping themselves in a room with buttons but no boxes. We set up special triggers to detect and handle these cases, and then added the box delivery tubes to ensure players could always be supplied with the required tools.
Yeah. I imagine that this chamber is one of those instances then. Interesting.
A few playtesters put a portal on the floor here, and used the rising stair pit to skip the rest of the puzzle. We'll usually rework a level if playtesters discover a way to bypass chunks of the puzzle too easily. But in this and a few other cases where skipping ahead arguably takes more skill than solving the puzzle properly, we let the ninja solution stand.
Yeah. Like at this point, it's like...
All subjects intending to handle high-energy gamma-leaking portal technology must be informed that they may be informed of applicable regulatory compliance issues. No further compliance information is required or will be provided, and you are an excellent test subject.
This is a great spot to appreciate the recursive nature of portals. If you place a portal on each side of this hallway, you'll notice the portals seem to go on forever, similar to the effect you get in a Hall of Mirrors. In actuality, we support a maximum of 9 recursive portal views down any chain of portals. We achieve the impression of infinite recursion by copying part of the previously rendered frame onto the final portal in the recursive chain. It's not perfect, but it's inexpensive and effective.
Yeah, very cool effect.
We designed this room to draw the player's eyes to the box. The light from the observation room casts horizontal shadows that point at the box, which is directly lit by a warm light from the ceiling. This warm light helps the box stand out against the predominantly cool test chamber lighting. The varying size squares of the off-limits surface also help direct the player's attention upward.
Yeah. But yeah, like here's a ninja solution that they brought up. Whee! Yeah, just like that. I'm gonna play this test chamber normally just to see if there's any other actually, I don't even need to do okay. Are there any... Actually, let me just... Nope. Alright. We could just finish the chest chamber the ninja way. If I can, actually. There we go. What's
The
next?
Enrichment Center is committed to the well-being of all participants. Cake and grief counseling will be available at the conclusion of the test. Thank you for helping us help you help us all.
This particular section went through several iterations because it's the first place where players are required to perform possibly the trickiest portal maneuver, the double fling. Originally, the room also featured an energy ball redirection puzzle. Combined with a new double fling skill, however, it proved to be too much for most playtesters. Overwhelmed players tend to not digest new information, so we simplified the puzzle to require only the double fling. To nudge players in the right direction, we also included visual hints, such as the previously introduced single fling theme, the pushed out concrete slab with a checkerboard landing zone.
Alright.
This puzzle requires players to redirect an energy ball through multiple portal placements. The multiple steps cause many early playtesters to panic and accidentally redirect a ball right into themselves, with deadly results. We redesigned the test chamber so that portals can only be placed in the top half of the room, which solved the problem by generally leaving players out of the ball's reach.
That's great. There we go.
We noticed through our playtest that many of our players weren't aware of the fact that you could place portals while falling.
Huh.
Since placing portals as you are falling is essential to accomplishing flings and many other portal tricks, we implemented this puzzle so that the only way to solve it was to use the mid-air placement tactic. It took numerous iterations and lots of tuning before this consistently played well.
Damn. That's interesting. Like, playtesters don't know that. Huh. It's like, they just think subconsciously, like, the moment they are in the air, they can't create portals. That's funny.
Perhaps the most important purpose of this final test chamber is to cement the double fling maneuver training. For previous flings, we employed a visual cue, a pushed out section of a wall. In preparation for the more freeform behind-the-scenes levels, however, we take the training wheels off. To proceed, players must realize they can double fling almost anywhere they want to, with or without hints.
Yeah. It's very effective.
In this puzzle, we wanted players to realize that using portals, they can travel long distances in a short step. Originally, we had stairs from the ground level to the upper rooms. Many playtesters, however, were able to run from one room to the other quickly enough to consider it a solution, without ever thinking to use the even easier portal method. By changing the stairs to very slow-moving lifts, we were able to level the travel time for all player experience levels, thus making the intended solution more clear.
And I'll just skip through it like that. Oh no! Let's try that again. Actually, what if I... Is there a commentary node in here? Shit. Ah, dang it. Come on. There we go.
Bruno Falls,
Oh.
the Enrichment Center. You have managed to trap yourself in this room. An escape hatch will open in 3, 2, 1.
Alright. There we go.
Due to mandatory scheduled maintenance, the appropriate chamber for this testing sequence is currently unavailable. It has been replaced with a live fire course designed for military androids. The Enrichment Center apologizes for the inconvenience and wishes you the best of luck.
For Portal, we wanted to create a turret that was different from the traditional Half-Life 2 turrets. The Half-Life 2 turrets are nothing more than mindless mounted guns. In Portal, we wanted the turrets to have personality, to be characters. The first step was a redesign of the look. Once we had the look of the new turrets, they seemed less like menacing machine guns and more like cute robots. And robots can never really be cute until they are talking robots. So the next step was creating the vocal characteristics of the turrets. Working with Ellen McLean, we settled on an innocent-sounding voice with dialogue to match. This juxtaposition of killing machine and innocent, non-aggressive personality ends up making the Portal turret a memorable character.
Yeah. They really nailed it.
Even though we didn't want Portal to be too combat heavy, we wanted to add at least a light combat mechanic. After a few less than successful attempts to actually realize this light combat concept, we settled on turrets as a good compromise. The turrets can be defeated with tricky Portal maneuvers, but they're also susceptible to a more straightforward Berserker approach.
Ow. Ow.
Even though Portal tells a simple story, we created a lot of backstory. For Aperture Science, for its employees, for its rivalry with the hated Black Mesa, and for where all of this fits into the cosmology of Half-Life. This first Portal game doesn't reveal all of it, but we crammed a lot of little details into the environments. This area, for instance, called the Ratman Den, hints that there may be other people trapped in the facility.
Yeah. Oop. I love this kind of thing where, like, you know, the story seems so simple on the surface, but there's just like a lot of interesting little details underneath it. And you know, some stories, some series could go too far with that, where like the story is just too simple and the backstory is just really bloated. But like, I think Portal really achieves this really nice, delicate balance. Ow. Oh, that was stupid. Look at how much blood there is on the wall.
Well done, Android. The Enrichment Center once again reminds you that Android Hell is a real place where you will be sent at the first sign of defiance.
Oh yeah, this stream is definitely gonna reach a good length.
The vital apparatus vent will deliver a weighted companion cube in 3, 2, 1. This weighted companion cube will accompany you through the test chamber. Please take care of it.
I don't normally worry about like stream length
We
and
designed this hall
stuff,
so
but
that players
you know,
had to use a
it's nice
box
when it's
as
like
a
2 to
shield.
3 hours
so
long.
Many playtesters read it as an avoid the energy ball timing puzzle and simply left the box behind. We solved this in large part by having the AI talk about the box. A lot. Once the dialogue went in, playtesters went from routinely abandoning the box to never wanting it to leave their side. Since we weren't going to make the players lug a box around for the rest of the game, we had a scene at the end of the level where the players are forced to kill the box.
Yeah.
The symptoms most commonly produced by Enrichment Center testing are superstition, perceiving inanimate objects as alive, and hallucinations. The Enrichment Center reminds you that the weighted companion cube will never threaten to stab you and, in fact, cannot speak.
But yeah, it goes to show how like even some like dialogue isn't just there to like teach the player something, but it can also just kind of recontextualize like how a player reacts to a certain gameplay mechanic. And having GLaDOS like kind of hype up the companion cube like this does a really effective job of just, you know, subconsciously telling the players that yeah, this box is important for this chamber. Oh. There we go.
The Enrichment Center reminds you that the weighted companion cube cannot speak. In the event that the weighted companion cube does speak, the Enrichment Center urges you to disregard its advice.
Ooh.
I know that I was told that, you know,
Ellen.
Sort of the idea of Valve is that everything is planned. Everything is worked out in advance. But that's a big fat lie. Because the initial idea is started, and they bring an actor into the studio and they say, you know, say these words for us. Say this computer-generated voice for us. Okay, I'll do that. Well, then that gives the creators other ideas. And it's a rolling process. You roll from one idea into the next idea.
Yeah. I love that. Like, you know, Valve presents themselves as someone that knows what they're doing, but that's a big fat lie. Oh boy, that's so true now more than ever. Okay. But yeah, that was Ellen McLean, the voice of GLaDOS and the turrets. She also did the Overwatch voices in Half-Life 2. So yeah, just a very talented person. I don't recall if she gets any like commentary notes in Portal 2. I definitely remember them in Portal 1. She really does stand out.
You did it. The weighted companion cube certainly brought you good luck. However, it cannot accompany you for the rest of the test and, unfortunately, must be euthanized. You euthanized your faithful companion cube more quickly than any test subject on record. Congratulations.
The awful end of the companion cube serves a dual purpose. It adds a lot more sinister character to our already pretty sinister AI, while simultaneously training the player to use the incinerator, a key component of the final level. The training has a nice dramatic payoff, since players later get to avenge the death of their good friend the companion cube by stuffing some of the AI's important parts into exactly the same type of incinerator.
Companion Cube was a real one. Rest in peace.
Creating the AI voice was a multi-step process. First, we ran every line of dialogue through an automatic text-to-speech program. In the studio, we cued the actress who plays Gladys, Ellen McLean, with the computer-generated sound file. She'd mimic it, and then over the course of several takes, adjust her performance to clean up any words that were unintelligible in the computer version. For instance, here's a line as Ellen delivered it.
Perfect. Please move quickly to the chamber lock, as the effects of prolonged exposure to the button are not part of this test.
Once the recording was done, we processed all the dialogue to give it an extra computery edge. Here's that same line as it appears in the game, with the pitch constrained, pitch modulation suppressed, and the formant moved up.
Perfect. Please move quickly to the chamber lock.
The experiment
as the
is
effects
nearing
of
its
prolonged
conclusion.
exposure to
The
the button
enrichment
are
center
not
is
part of this
Oh my god,
test.
two
requested
GLaDOSes.
that you will be baked, and then there will be cake.
Any nodes in here? Yes, there is.
As an actor, you know, you come in, you do what you're told, you want to make your money, and sometimes you get good direction and sometimes you don't get good direction. But it doesn't matter, and you certainly don't tell the production team any of this. But you come in and they'll give you a lame line reading, and you're supposed to find some emotional value in that. But this is not what this team did. They would come in, for example, explosively indignant. That's a wonderful direction for an actor. So, I must say that the production team won me over, because so often I get bogus direction, but this time I was actually directed and had fun at all the sessions.
Not many commentary nodes here, so this is just regular gameplay for a bit. There we go. Nice. Whoop. So. Go. All right. Okay. Oh no! Okay. Okay.
Well done. Be advised that the next test requires exposure to uninsulated electrical parts that may be dangerous under certain conditions. For more information, please attend an Enrichment Center electrical safety seminar.
Seminar. Alright. Let's go. Okay. More nodes, more nodes.
When you are done, you will drop the device in the Equipment Recovery Annex. Enrichment Center regulations require both hands to be empty before any cake.
We use these moving platforms to add time pressure to puzzles. A sequence of simple decisions feels much more climactic under time pressure, in contrast to most puzzles in Portal which can be solved at the player's leisure. Puzzles that aren't time-bound can be more complex, but at the expense of being less dramatic.
Yeah. Sometimes, like, having something feel climactic doesn't necessarily mean it has to be like the most intricate or advanced thing that game can offer. It can just be offering like a rather like, you know, unique moment of gameplay that, you know, frames it, that is framed in like a climactic way. There we go.
To ensure the safe performance of all authorized activities, do not destroy vital testing apparatus.
I'm not gonna attempt to carry the green energy pellet by the end of the game.
Sometimes little details make a huge difference. For instance, we had to add the left side to this wall to give players a visual representation of how thick it is. Without it, playtesters frequently thought that the hall had just gotten impossibly narrower, panicked, and stopped making rational decisions.
The test is now over. All Aperture technologies remain safely operational up to 4,000 degrees Kelvin. Rest assured that there is absolutely no chance of a dangerous equipment malfunction prior to your victory incandescent. Thank you for participating in this Aperture Science computer-aided enrichment activity. Goodbye.
Before the player escapes the fire pit, the AI dialogue is all delivered in computerized monotone. After the escape, however, Gladys gets progressively more expressive until, by the end, she's cycling through a whole mess of emotions. The role required an actor capable of mimicking the computer-generated voice while still infusing it with some real character. Since we planned to end the game with a song, she also needed to have a good singing voice. The woman we ended up casting, Ellen McLean, is a great mimic, a terrific actor, and a classically trained operatic soprano, so that worked out pretty good.
That you made it through the final challenge where we pretended we were going to murder you. We are very, very happy for your success. We are throwing a party in honor of your tremendous success. Place the device on the ground, then lie on your stomach with your arms at your sides. A party associate will arrive shortly to collect you for your party. Make no further attempt to leave the testing area. Assume the party escort submission position or you will miss the party.
In these new areas, we weren't using the surfaces the player is familiar with. The rules for which new surfaces portals can be placed on, and which surfaces are off limits, needed to be taught. So, we created this area both to show the player they've escaped into the guts of the facility, and to retrain them in which surfaces are valid for portal placement.
Yep.
I went to Portal's, I Googled Portal in game, and I went to the trailer, and I just loved it. I loved hearing my voice. And as I told the production team, I have never played a computer game in my life, but I want to play this one.
I hope she had fun with this game. Playing this game, obviously.
Okay, the test is over now. You win. Go back to the recovery annex for your cake.
After players escape, we let them
It was a
solve
fun
an old
test,
chamber in a new
and
way.
we're all impressed
This
at how much
reintroduction
you
of a
won.
familiar
The
space,
test is
which can
over.
now be solved
Come
in an
back.
incorrect way, helps convey the sense that players are cheating the system while forging their own path through the facility.
Yeah, very smart chamber reuse there. Okay. Oh, I made it. Okay, cool. More nodes, more nodes. Is there any nodes in here? Okay. Oh, I see a node.
One bizarre fact of game design is that without some serious prompting, players will rarely look up. In this case, the prompt is the ladder. Most players will investigate where the ladder goes, which is up. The ladder actually falls apart as soon as it's touched, but by then it's served its purpose.
And that was a brief moment. I think that was like one of the few moments. I think this is the only moment actually where like the game just like takes control away from you for a bit. To illustrate a point. Ooh. Alright. Come on.
We designed the post-escape levels to give players brief glimpses of the inner workings of the Enrichment Center. This particular area exposes part of the storage cube distribution system. These little vignettes help make this section of the game visually distinct from the testing chambers, while reinforcing the idea that players are now behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Through playtesting, we discovered that fatigue set in if we didn't bring...
And then I was off. We pretended we were going to murder you. That was great.
Through playtesting, we discovered that fatigue set in if we didn't break up the more complicated, deliberately paced puzzles with problems that required the player to perform a much simpler task under time pressure. These pistons proved to be a good foundation for that simpler type of puzzle. Because they feature a moving surface, they also gave us an opportunity to employ some unusual portal transitions, such as ceiling to ceiling.
During development, we'd often run across some piece of level design that would break the portal system. For instance, this ceiling to ceiling transition was an unexpected edge case that ended up requiring a lot of effort to make work. We tried never to take the easy route of simply changing the level design to work with existing portal technology. We knew that once the game was out in the wild, custom map creators would stress the system in ways we hadn't even considered.
Yeah.
So we made it as flexible as possible.
I really respect that. Yeah. But yeah, what they said previously. Oop.
It's not too late for you to turn back. I'm not
But yeah, like what they said about like that kind of thing with trying to not just design around the flaws of the system, but to ensure that like it's super solid all around. Especially when, you know, Valve is a community that like Valve endorses modding of their games, and they want to make sure like these systems work consistently, and I really respect that. And yeah, like the whole thing with fatigue, like that is such an important thing about video game pacing. It's just like I don't think it should necessarily get harder and harder. Like it should have like peaks and valleys to ensure that like you're not just constantly like climbing a new mountain every time, you know? Ooh.
In the sound booth, you're only connected to the production team by an intercom, and they can talk about you, and you don't know what they're saying. But you trust that they're being kind. And, you know, they'll push a button, and then they'll say something to me. They'll say, a direction. No, that wasn't right. Do it again. Give us 3 more reads. And a lot of times what happens is they would play the computer-generated sound for me on one line, and then I'm supposed to recreate that 3 times with the director saying, okay, well, you know, more sarcastic or more angry or more irritated. So you stand in the booth hour after hour after hour. They're always very nice. They let you have water in here and maybe a pencil to take a few notes. And of course you want it to be interesting because you want them to hire you again.
It's interesting, like, comparing Ellen's vocal direction in this game versus Portal 2. Because in Portal 2, because of the context of this game's finale, she doesn't really pull off like that kind of dry robotic voice like this game does. She's a lot more expressive there, so I wonder if that was like easier for her with that game. She could be a little more loose.
Like this turret ambush to give the players the sense that they're approaching a climactic encounter.
And yeah, what he says makes sense.
An important design goal of these post-escape levels was to give players the sense that they're running wild inside the guts of the facility. With that in mind, we added plenty of nooks and crannies for players to crawl into or place portals through. This ended up being a tricky lighting challenge, as the areas needed to be bright enough to navigate, while still being dim enough to feel like obscure, disused sections of the building.
Yeah. Very effective use of lighting for gameplay. Ow. No notes here. Oh, turret, please. Ah! Out of the way. Oh. Wait, why is it... Oh, come on. Why is it not working? Oh my god. Come on, game. What? What's going on? Okay, that's weird. Why is it doing that? Huh. Okay. Anyway.
This is your fault. It didn't have to be like this. I'm not kidding now. Turn back, or I will kill you. I'm going to kill you, and all the cake is gone. You don't even care, do you? This is your last chance.
Sarcasm. GLaDOS is sarcastic a lot. And that's so much fun. But while I was trying to do this, trying to build in all these emotions, I still had to maintain the computer sound and maintain the pronunciation of repeated phrases. You know, Aperture Science, and, the Enrichment Center.
These rocket sentries originally fired lasers. We switched from lasers to rockets after we introduced the glass breaking mechanic, mainly because glass shattering in a massive rocket explosion turned out to be a lot more satisfying than glass just slowly being melted by a laser. Originally, they also spoke, just like the bullet turrets. Because players often redirect the rockets with their backs to the turret, however, a distinct, uncluttered sound cue was required. The boys simply added too much noise to the rocket redirect mechanic.
Yeah.
Breaking this tube gives players a chance to test out their newly trained rocket redirecting and glass breaking skills in a slightly different context, which helps cement the training.
I suppose. But, you know, I misunderstood for the longest time, so maybe it wasn't as effective as I think it is. But then again, maybe it's just, you know, playtesters, they gotta give some feedback to how things are communicated, and I don't know, I guess if it works for them, then it works for them, but yeah, I know some people have gotten stuck with that part. There's actually like a similar moment in Portal 2 with that, in that regard, and I think it's done a lot better because it's more specific and clear, I guess. But yeah.
This massive turret ambush was originally a lot more massive, with turrets that dropped from the ceiling and popped out of surprise hatches. In fact, for a while, it was the game's climactic battle. Through playtesting, we learned that this type of pure combat experience didn't really fit with the preceding few hours of player training. Over several iterations, we toned down the combat and made the room more about using portal momentum to fling yourself great distances, a skill that playtesters really enjoyed using, and that's a key component of what eventually became our final battle.
Yeah, this, for the longest time, this was basically like the arena that you fight GLaDOS in, but you know, that didn't carry over, so. It is a very interesting little area though, because it is shaped like an arena, basically. Oh. That's awkward. Why is this screwing up on me now? What's going on? Alright, that works. There you go. And we're approaching the end. Once again.
Originally, these catwalks were decorative, but playtesters consistently thought they were significant and often spent a lot of time trying to reach them. We didn't want to stand between people and their desire to walk on the catwalks, so we redesigned the area to make catwalks not only accessible, but also necessary to proceed.
Valve has like an interesting relationship with catwalks. There's like a video about it. It's time.
Well, you found me. Congratulations. Was it worth it? Because despite your violent behavior, the only thing you've managed to break so far is my heart. Maybe you could settle for that, and we'll just call it a day. I guess we both know that isn't
Oh
going
boy,
to
this
happen.
part's actually
Because
kind of
this
rough
time,
for the
now I have a
commentary mode,
surprise for you.
just because she talks a
Before you
lot.
surprise in 5,
So,
4,
you have to deal with that, sorry.
Not for a second. That wasn't supposed to happen. Do you see that thing that fell out of me? What is that? It's not the surprise. I've never seen it before. Never mind. It's a mystery I'll solve later. By myself. Because you'll be dead.
fiction behind this red phone is
I
that
wouldn't
while
bother
GLaDOS
with
was
that
being
thing.
developed,
My guess
it was
is that
somebody's
touching
job
it
to
will
sit
just
by
make your life
it.
even
And if it ever
worse
looked like the
somehow.
AI was becoming sentient and godlike, that person would pick up the phone and call somebody to come help.
I don't want to tell
In the
you
point
your
in time where
business,
the
but
actual
if it
game
were
takes
me, I'd
place,
leave
it's
that
become
thing
obvious
alone.
that the Aperture Science red phone plan didn't 100% work out.
Yeah.
Do you think I'm trying to trick you with reverse psychology? I mean, seriously now.
So when they told me that there was going to be a song at the end, I thought,
Okay, fine. Do
well,
touch
all
it.
right,
Pick
who's
it
going
up
to
and
write the
just
song?
stuff it back into me.
And they told me there was going to be a song written by Jonathan Colton.
Let's be honest.
And I
Neither
listened
one of us knows
to
what
a
that thing
song
does.
that
Just
Jonathan
put it
had
in
written,
the corner,
and it was
and
very
I'll
funny,
deal
very
with it
clever.
later.
So I thought at that point, well, this will be okay. But I am an
That thing is
opera singer,
probably
so
some
usually
kind
I
of raw
sing.
sewage container. Go ahead and rub your face all over it.
And I thought, well, will I be able
Maybe
to have
you should
the right
marry that
style
thing
for
since
the
you love
song?
it
So
so
I was
much.
concerned.
Do you want to marry
But then
it? Well,
before
I
the
won't let you.
recording,
How does that
they
feel?
sent me an MP3 file of the song, and I listened
Have
to
I lied
it
to
with
you?
Jonathan
I mean,
singing it.
in this room,
But I
trust
loved
me,
the
leave
little
that thing
song.
alone.
And at home, as I practiced the little song, I tried to, get back to GLaDOS's voice.
I am being serious
You know,
now. That crazy thing is not part of any
Just this
test
tiny
protocol.
little passive-aggressive computer who's all alone until people try to come in and murder her.
Just ignore that thing
So
and
of
stand
course she
still.
gets upset. But she seems to have this real affinity for cake. And I want to play the game
Think
because
about
I
it.
want to
If that thing
recreate
is
the cake
important,
recipe
why don't I know about
and then
it?
put Portal on it and be able to serve it to my friends when they come over to my house.
The cake recipe that the
I'll tell
cake
you what
core
that
gives
thing
out is
isn't.
very
It isn't
weird.
yours, so leave it alone.
GLaDOS, the rogue disk operating system that now runs Aperture Science, went through a bunch of design iterations.
Are you even
Early
listening to
versions
me?
included a floating brain, a sprawling spidery mechanism, and an upside-down version of Botticelli's Rise of Venus built out of robot parts and wire. Eventually, we
I'll tell
settled
you
on a
what that
huge
thing
mechanical
isn't.
device with a
It
delicate
isn't
robotic
yours,
figure
so leave
dangling
it
out of
alone.
it, which successfully conveys both GLaDOS's raw power and her femininity.
Alright. Is there another one? Nope, I think that's all the commentary notes. Alright, so let's just wrap this up.
Where are you taking that thing?
Pew!
You're kidding me. Did you just set that Aperture Science thing we don't know what
And
it does?
let me turn down the audio just to prepare myself for the potential copyright claim of Still Alive that's somehow there. So it's gonna be quiet on your end. Sorry about that. Boom, boom, boom. To make me stop the Richmond Center. Yeah, damn it. Alright. There we go. Okay. Nope. Whew. Ah, shoot. What? Oh. Okay. And then... boom! We're done. I wonder if there's like... I don't remember. There might be like another comment at the tail end of the game, maybe? I'll just have to wait and see. Oof. As this goes on, I'll check, well, no, the game pauses when, oh, no, the audio just stops when I look somewhere else, so... Oh, no. I always like this little ending cinematic. It's just like weirdly vague, and I don't know. It's just a weird little moment to end the game on, and I really like it. And yeah, that was Portal once again, with the commentary mode. Uh, Anyone that has this game, Portal 2, the Half-Life games, whatever, like if there's a commentary mode for the games, I do highly recommend checking them out. They're very cool, and I just love that kind of practice that developers do, just an in-game developer commentary. I understand that sometimes like that's too much work to include, and also like is they're not interested enough to like share their details, which is unfortunate. But like you know, it's like the Source engine and the Valve community as a whole has such a devoted and passionate group of people who really like dig into how these games work, and it's because Valve themselves are very transparent about that. Um, yeah, it's just really cool. Uh, Now, let me see. Yeah, after this, I'm gonna check to see who's streaming right now, and so I can rate them. Whew. I'm a little tired. I got like 7 or 8 hours of sleep, which is not bad, but it's like, it's been a busy time for me lately. And yesterday, I applied for a job, and I'm currently like waiting to hear back from them. So, yeah, it should be good. Maybe Black Mesa. That was a joke. Haha, fat chance. Anyway, this cake is great. It's so delicious and moist. Look at me still talking and I can yeah. And believe me, I am still alive. Yeah, and I'm too tired for this. Still alive, still alive. Alright, let's quit the game. Let's see who is streaming right now. Ooh, Sensei Soda Pop is streaming right now, so let me just give them a raid and yeah. Wait, what? Sensei Soda Pop. Yeah, cool. Alright, thank you to anyone watching. You all have a good night. Ooh, sorry. Let's go. Alright, so you all have a good day. Nighty night. Not night, it's the afternoon. You all have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.